welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semifinals of the Korean StarCraft League, the KSL week number 56. We're here, we are back with our PvP, our first semifinals of the night. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the other South Korean Protoss, the Red Protoss representing Gen G Esports. It is a Trap. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. The Gamba is upon us. Place your bets on who you think will claim this PvP. So far, the round 16 and the quarterfinals have been a little bit more favored. One side or the other have been a little bit more one-sided, but this time I imagine an ace match. I imagine this is going to be a much closer series to call. So best of luck in the chat for who you think will claim this. Will it be Classic or Trap? This could go either way. Now, I did mention before that Trap did defeat Classic earlier this week. That is true. If you remember, Trap took down Classic in Kung Fu Cup. That was a couple of days ago in the KFC, and Trap was able to have a dominant performance in that tournament. We'll see if Classic can get his revenge. Can he get it? For now, two-gate opener out of Trap. Classic going for a gate expand. Okay. Classic doing his best Max Packs impression. It's going to be a gateway into the Cybercore, into a Stargate, into the expansion. It was a double gas opener. This means that we're going for a Stargate first, followed by the Nexus, but a much more economic opener out of Classic. And Trap goes for a fake Proxy Pylon. Ooh, okay, interesting. Now, Classic is aware. He scouts, he's aware that the pylon is missing. He's aware that the pylon is nowhere to be found, and is it real or is it a fake? Trap is hoping to force an overreaction. As Trap has not actually scouted, he doesn't really know what Classic is up to. For now, Trap is in the dark. Opening up double Stalker, a bit of a more assertive start here from Trap. Probe coming in for a scout, will be able to confirm the opener of Classic. And we'll see if Trap does double down. I mean, now we don't really have too much of an option to commit to an all-in. I mean, I guess we could throw down another pylon for another proxy. Probe does confirm. Probe is too late to block, and the Nexus is on the way. So Trap, he's now aware of how greedy Classic has been, and how do we respond? For now, double Stalker into a third and fourth Stalker, so we're going to be applying a lot of pressure here with Stalkers early on, as they're moving out across the map. And behind this, we should be either expanding or throwing down tech. Does Trap go for the all-in? Does he double down? He's expanding. Never mind. Trap is going to be expanding. He was banking resources. Nexus is on the way. So Trap is going for a bit of a later expansion. He's going to try to hunt down that Adept. Taking a lot of damage. Shading towards the ramp. And we barely miss it. In a way. There we go, we do have our Stalkers. They're going to be able to step forward, and they focus down the Adept. It does fall. Oracle's on the way. Trap should be aware of the Stargate. Didn't see it, but is quite familiar with this build, I'm sure. And is getting into the main. Trap is ready for the Oracle aggression. Oracle dipping in, gets a probe. Back at him, Classic following up with a Void Ray. Classic did scout the expansion, but this is a very safe maneuver. We don't often need the Void Ray, but especially if it's not an all-in, does invest. We'll see if it pays off. Both players taking it to their Twilight Councils. Classic does maintain an economic lead as he can make 2 probes at a time. So a nice start so far for Classic. Void Ray is scouted. Trap is now aware. He does respond. Trying to keep up with Classic. As Classic rotates over, hits the natural. Oh, gets a probe. Ooh. Gets a worker, but takes a lot of hold damage on that Oracle. Void Ray does go for the first rank alignment. Doesn't get the Stalker. Up! I will We'll get the Stalker, but it's going to pay a massive price for it as the Void Ray is barely going to go down. Yeah, another worthwhile trade for Classic. A little bit too greedy, a little bit too ambitious there. Trading a Void Ray for a Stalker, better trade for Trap. Oracle pinned back, only 2 probe kills so far. And Trap is defending well. Behind this, expanding. Taking the third base, so is Classic. Both players take their thirds. Bearing in mind, even though Classic has not been trading well with his initial Skytoss units, still has that worker lead. Because of the faster expansion, Classic still has that economic edge. So you could make an argument that he can afford some of these losses. It's still okay. Now we're expanding, building up the Stalkers, Blinkers on the way for both players, Forge for Classic for upgrades. Meanwhile, Robo for Trap can get into slightly earlier Immortal production, which is safety observers. Trap moving out. Let's fan out his units. We have Stalkers on the right, we have Adepts towards the left. Blink is done, we can go into the main. The stasis! Ooh, we do spot the stasis, it is baited out. And Stalkers, they bust into the main. They will get some economic damage, probes are falling. Stalkers, though, they come in for a surround. Maybe force a recall, 1 Stalker gets picked off. Just the 1. At the same time, Adepts, they hit the third base, and we are getting so much economic damage, we get 8 probe kills. 8 probes go down with that. Trap now takes a worker lead. Nice damage. Now the downside here is that Classic has the Stalker lead. Now, he may have lost a little workers, but the army for Classic is looking that much more terrifying. Also has a lead with +1, moving out across the map. And Classic is setting up for his own counterattack, and Trap is out of position. Oh, we're out of position, and we can dive into the main. Go for a massive blink. We focus on the pylons. We get 1, we get 2. 2 pylons go down. We snipe at least the Oracle, but still, good pickups. Delaying reinforcements. 4th Nexus on the way for Classic. He force fields the... Oh my god! He force fields the natural. Does force field with one-shotting Stalkers. The shield battery does nothing. And finally coming into play. The shield battery gets depowered, and Classic, a really nice counterattack here. Picks off pylons, picks off Stalkers. Let's get some nice damage, and Classic is catching back up. Getting his 4th, trapped that much behind. Slightly behind here in that 4th timing. And still a bit hard to call. I do want to give the edge to Classic. After that counterattack, he's able to maintain the Stalker lead. Getting into Immortals, and so is his opponent. And we're taking up into Charge Lots and Archons as well. So we're working on our next step. Refining our armies. Getting into +2, and we're backing up. We're going to be backing up, getting into our 4 base setup. So we're going to be entering a bit of a lull period. We had a really intense couple of minutes. We're calming down, taking a breather. And most likely we'll be moving out until we have our Archons. The War Prism here for Trap will signify aggression. It's like, okay, once we have it, we can move out, we can reinforce. Archons are now on the way, so it looks like Trap is going to be the first to push. Meanwhile, Classic still building up. Doesn't have Archons yet. Never mind, Prism coming back to join up the main army of Classic. I am a little bit concerned of the lack of Archons. Trap is moving out. There we go, first Archons on the way. 1 Archon for Classic. Is that going to be enough? Meanwhile, looks like you may have caught a glimpse of that Prism. Never mind. Zella checks his old Naga, and we just got the Prism. Prism is spotted. Main armies are about to clash. And Trap going to be reinforcing. The Prism is caught out. Yeah, massive snipe. War Prism does fall. Trap pulling back to his cannon. At the same time, we force field in these Zealots. Zealots are going to be going down. The Archons, they go to town. We clean up the Zealots, are breaking on through. And Trap does take the fight. He can focus on the Immortals. He gets one. Now there's two left. Now there's one left. And Trap, he takes the dominant fight here. Is breaking through. We have behind this shield battery. We have an overcharge. That's good, but it's not going to be enough. Not against 3 Immortals. And Classic caught with his pants down. Was not ready for this. Voids are being pulled, and that's going to help for a moment. But nice juggling here on a Trap. As he will overwhelm Classic. Gets the final Immortal, and GG gets caught. Trap takes the lead. Whew. GG. Again, Classic, he only had the one Archon. Not just that, but his army positioning wasn't ideal either. The force fields were brutal as we were able to clean up initially all the Zealots of Classic and then deal with the rest of the army. And Classic was picked apart there, and Trap just had a really solid engagement there towards the end of the game. Even though both armies were quite comparable with each other, the execution of the fight was better for Trap. Was in favor of Trap, and with that, Trap takes a lead, and now we're jumping into game number 2. Let's go. Jumping into that second game. Can we bounce back? Can we force an ace match? Or will Trap make it to the grand finals? We are here to find out. As we will be jumping in. Here we go. You can hear the beeps. Game 2 is going to be on Amphion. Oh boy. Here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Amphion, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, down in this series, looking to bounce back and force the ace match. Representing Twisted Minds, it is a Classic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean the other South Korean Protoss, the Red Protoss, representing Genji Esports. It is a Trap. Go. We are settling in. Oh, wait, it's Amphion. No, we're loading into Amphion. What does that mean? That means gate expands. That means we're setting up for gate expands. That means that Phoenix play is going to be quite viable. Now, before we embrace Phoenixism, if we embrace Phoenix Wars, Classic time and time again has shown us that he is willing to deviate and go into Blink Stalkers and try to break out of Phoenix Wars. So we have the potential for that once we get into the swing of things. For those that are curious what I'm on about, basically on a map like Amphion, Side Delta, and Post Youth, we have a ramp. We have a ramp leading to the natural. That means that it is commonplace, it is meta, it is the known thing to do to go for more economic openers. As this ramp provides a very defensive advantage, it makes it difficult to go for a one base all in, so we can take the risk. Gateway into Cybercore, into Nexus. Now Classic opens up double gas, Trap, later second gas. What that means is that Trap ideally was hoping for a faster Nexus. This second gas is delayed, which means the Stargate is going to be delayed. But both players, their goal here is to delay that expansion for as long as they can, going for those pylon blocks as often as possible. And because of all these pylon blocks, we should be forcing out those Stargates. But in Classic, it's going to be slightly faster with the faster gas. As both players are patrolling, there it is, a Stargate on the way for Classic, Stargate on the way for Trap, and the Phoenix Wars have begun. They've begun, but we can try to break away from that. I mentioned before that we have seen Classic time and time again deviate away from Phoenixes and eventually try to get into Blink Stalkers, but for now it's too early to tell. For now, it is Phoenix Wars. What I'm getting at as well is, because both players scout each other's Stargates, neither player can go Oracle, because if one player goes Oracle, the other player goes Phoenix, then you lose the Oracle, and that's almost game then and there. So we're kind of forced and locked into this position where we have to make Phoenixes, otherwise we lose. And it is hard to break out of that. It is difficult. As Phoenixes are on the way. The initial gateway units are going to be clashing. Classic taking a lot of damage on that attempt. It does take a lot of hits. Likewise, Zealot as well. So nice earlier trade here for Trap. As Phoenixes are moving out. Adept trying to shade in. Is denied. A quick movement there by Trap. And we shouldn't be able to get too much done here. Both players, they lift their opposing Adepts. Adepts are going to be cleaned up. And from here, we should be working towards a second Stargate. There it is. Second Stargate's on the way for both players. Okay, yeah, okay. You know, the coping is over. You know, I was like, oh, maybe Classic will try to go into Blink Stalkers. No. The cope is over. It's all about the Phoenixes, man. We are embracing the Phoenix Wars. Let's go. Now, it is difficult to be aggressive early on with Phoenixes. If you lose a Phoenix at the start early on, then it very quickly snowballs out of control. You can be down one Phoenix, and that will cost you a fight. That will cost you the game. So risky move here out of Trap. He does slip into the main. Gets one probe, gets two probes. Let's get the hell out of here. Has to race on out. Classic trying to intercept. Does attempt the intercept, and gets the first shot off. Classic does shoot first. Fourth Phoenix has arrived. But again, this is not a fight that Trap can take. He has to get the hell out of here. These Phoenixes are bruised. That much more than Classics. He's crazy, trying to camp the production as well. Trap, calm down. One wrong move and that can cost you the entire game here. More Phoenixes are amassing. Again, Classic has the defender's advantage. We try to catch out one of the Phoenixes. Classic gets caught out! He gets caught out of position, and Classic's gonna lose everything. Yeah, the Phoenixes will fall. Yeah, 3 versus 2, and Trap does get the better trade. Oof. So nice movement here out of Trap. It was very risky. Does take the better fight. Classic, meanwhile. Trap, we have to calm down. We cannot take this. Yeah, Trap misjudging the situation, bleeds out a Phoenix. Trap has no chill. He's still in his face. Oh my god. Despite being down at Phoenix, yeah, you cannot take this. Does try to reinforce once again. Again, Trap, he's been down at Phoenix and he's gonna lose everything. He's been down at Phoenix this entire time and he's being overwhelmed, and yeah, just overly aggressive here. Trap at losing everything. And I'm afraid to look at the unit count here, but Trap, he's got 2 Phoenixes against the 5 of Classic. And this is how quickly things can snowball out of control. One bad fight, and that could be it. Trap now has to fight with the help of shield batteries and cannons. No shield battery, no cannon, no overcharge. Classic can now freely move out across the map. He can game the production, and that's going to be game. Is game of the production. Every Phoenix will fall. We have 4-1. Trap trying to buy some time. But yeah, there's no coming back from this. GG gets called, and Classic will tap the series 1-1, forcing the ace match. GG. Mate, Trap was insane. He was doing everything you should not in Phoenix Wars, and it was kind of paying off a little bit. But Trap got a little bit too excited there. You know, the initial fight did go the way of Trap, where he was able to catch Classic a bit out of position. That did occur initially, and then from there we needed to back off and calm down. But no, Trap was just in Classic's face and was punished real hard. The problem with being aggressive like that when you have such close Phoenix counts is that because your opponent has defender's advantage, that means that Phoenix is reinforced that much faster. So even if you're maybe even or slightly ahead in Phoenixes, that can turn on a dime. That can just go south real quick there because of the production of your opponent. So yeah, that was insane. That was insane. GG, well played. Trap punished for his aggressiveness, and now we're getting into Game 3. Oh boy. Getting into game number 3 here. It all ends here. It all ends on post-youth. And the question becomes, do we see that again? What I'm referring to post-youth is another map that has a ramp leading into the natural. What I will say though, post-youth is a little bit more unique. The ramp is quite narrow at the main because of your in-base natural base, which means we could actually cut some corners and be even greedier here. I'm referring to a single gas opener. We'll see if that's the case. So spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of post-youth, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Gen G Esports, being forced into the ace match. We'll see if we can bring it back. It is Trap. We go. Trap trying to out-control and out-micro Classic in that last game, trying to rely on his control, and alas, did not quite work out. Nexus first! He's crazy! Okay, I spoke about how greedy you can be on post-youth, and we are going straight up Nexus first from the side of Classic. Trap, it looks like he's going for a gate expand. I expect Trap to stay on one gas. He doesn't need a second gas, guys, but Classic, he just does one better. This is the greediest opener you can go for in a PvP from the side of Classic. Straight up just Nexus into Pylon. But you can do this. You can get away with this on this map. The Probe Scout does confirm just how early that Nexus is. So much greed out of Classic, delaying his gases for so long. And now it's on Trap to punish. Trap does open double gas. Oof. Okay. Double gas opener out of Trap, which means we can actually proxy Immortal. Let's go! We're proxying. We're going all in. Trap, he sees how greedy Classic has been, and he's like, no shot, no way. He scouts. Oh, he misses. Classic, he checks, and he barely does not see that pylon. He was so close, 1 hex to the right. Oh my god. I mean, regardless, he's walling off. Double gates, getting into his gases. Classic is not fully aware of what's going on, and bearing in mind, Classic did not probe scout. He is unaware of the build that Trap is going for. And there it is. Stargate in the face of his opponent. Do we just go proxy Void Ray? I would imagine so. Just double down to go proxy Void. We'll see. We'll see if it's going to be Void Ray or Oracle. Either one would make sense. Oracle could just wreak havoc and just eviscerate the economy. Zealot has arrived. Behind this, we have our Cybercore on the way. 2 gates. This should lead into Stalker production. Pylon is under fire. That is a bit of an Artosis Pylon. Shield battery on the way. Pylon taking a lot of damage. Uh-oh. He is taking a lot of hits. Zealot's going to go down. Pylon under fire. There we go. Backup Pylon on the way. That Pylon is getting low. It's going to go down. Ooh, the Pylon will fall. The Sentry does come out. Ooh, and that's going to depower all the production. Meanwhile, Void Rays are on the way, and the Sentry does scout. Sentry does confirm. And now we have a wall of shield batteries. Shield batteries, another gateway. Everything's repowered. More shield batteries on the way. And the Void Rays are upon us. Let's go. Not the most common proxy that you see here. Proxy Void Ray in PvP. But the shield batteries are not ready. Stalker coming in. We activate prismatic alignments. We chase down the Stalker. And we can go for the probe kills. Alas, Void Rays don't have the highest amount of DPS. As we try to focus on the shield battery, but the initial shield battery is done. Classic is holding initially. Does hold, but we have shield batteries on the way. Let's go. Shield battery versus shield battery. Who's going to win? I mean, Classic has an overcharge. Bear that in mind. Does have an overcharge available. That is a factor. We can take down the gateway, though. The gateway can be abused. Void Ray taking a lot of damage. Do throw down the force field. Shield battery is now done. Overcharges popped. Can we save the gateway? We barely can. Overcharge is a powerful tool here. Does keep the gateway alive. Stalker's rotating. Oh, the Void Ray getting very low. Void Ray's low. And Classic is buying a lot of time. I mean, he's got quite a large Stalker force, and I think he can hold on. But we're up to 3 Void Rays. Yeah, the DPS is getting higher and higher for Trap. Breaking into the main base, overcharged on cooldown. We do focus down one of the Void Rays. Voids are being pulled. Oh, second Void Ray goes down. There's one left. One of Void Ray does remain. And oh, can we get it? Oh, we can, just barely. We lose every single Void Ray, and Classic is holding. He's holding on, Pappy. We're getting on top of the shield batteries as well, and Trap, he's running out of steam. He's running out of units. His shield batteries were just 1 second too late. And now Classic is breaking out. He's breaking out of his own main. Chasing down those Stalkers. They're getting punished a little bit here. Void Ray has arrived. We can focus on the shield batteries. One of them goes down. So does the second. And GG gets called. Classic, he shuts down the all-in, and Classic will take the win. Will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Classic will take it. Trap, I mean, did attempt a response there with the counter all-in against the greed of Classic, but proxy Void Ray is not seen too often, and again, we weren't quite able to snowball out of control with it. The first Void Ray took a lot of damage. Was down to, what, less than half HP before the first shield battery did complete, so some really rough, in a way, losses early on for Trap. Did lose a lot of momentum early on as well. And Classic was able to chase Trap down and eventually overwhelm. GG. GG, well played. Solid defense there out of Classic. And now we're getting ready for the grand finals. We're getting ready for the grand finals. It is going to be a TvP between Classic and Beyond.